Are you guys seeing what is going on in Texas right now? We're gonna die, bro.
The news of the Hanta virus is spreading across social media. The virus usually spreads by inhaling contaminated rodent droppings and can spread person to person.
What do you mean they got off the boat? What do you mean there's already cases in Texas? What do you mean?
Yes, state leaders did confirm that 2 passengers on the ship are from Texas, but they also said they do not have any symptoms and they did not come in contact with anyone who was sick on the ship.
The particular strain of hantavirus that is causing an issue on the cruise ship right now is the Andes strain. We absolutely do not have that in the Houston area. We're even a little too far east for the Sin Nombre strain, which is endemic in the desert Southwest. There is a Bayou strain of hantavirus that is in this area, but it almost never causes human infections.
And if you plan on traveling for the summer and you're a little worried, Dr. Yancey says there are preventative steps you can take.
When traveling, just be mindful of the environment that you're in. It's probably not a good idea to play with mice and rats at any point in time.
A lot of people are genuinely freaked out about the cruise ship. You know, the one with Hanta virus that's currently like they have it stuck at sea in quarantine and they don't know what to do with the people, but apparently somebody got on a plane at some point and they're trying to track it down. And it seems like this virus is now jumping from human to human and everyone is panicked. But I want to remind everyone of something. This is the man who's in charge of disease now. You're not freaked out enough. This is from Sunday. He just grabbed a bird at the airport. We're currently in a state where people are like, did someone get in contact with hantavirus, human-to-human transmission, and that takes a while to incubate and could be spreading it all over the place. We don't know where it is. Well, this dude is grabbing birds at the airport. This is from Sunday. This isn't from a while ago. This is a man who also regularly does not wear shoes on airplanes. He walks around barefoot on fucking airplanes. We don't know if the airplanes have fucking hantavirus. You're not scared enough. I'm just telling you this right now. I don't like to be the person who freaks people the fuck out, but if this guy's the fucking in charge, I'm freaking the fuck out. He sounds like he's been throat fucked by a demon. Look, I found a bird. And the hantavirus usually comes from mice, right? Guess who blends mice? Guess who puts mice in a blender? That's a thing he's done. He eats roadkill. He's a lunatic. We have diseases that are coming randomly from small varmints, and this guy is fucking ground zero for varmints, and he's in charge of everything. The CDC, our vaccine response, pandemics, the ideas around quarantine, all of that different stuff. We're not freaked out enough. We're not. They put this fucking Looney Tune in charge of everything.
Health officials think they've tracked down the source of the deadly hantavirus outbreak aboard the MV Hondias cruise ship. 2 passengers who died from the virus likely contracted the infection while birdwatching in Argentina and then boarded the ship after being infected, spreading it to other passengers. The Dutch couple who died visited a landfill as part of a birdwatching tour near the southern tip of Argentina. Authorities believe it was there that they contracted the virus from a rodent. But there's a big hole in this theory, and health officials admit it. There has never been a recorded case of the virus in the area where this couple visited. We're also learning more about how and when the virus spread on board. The Dutchman who first fell ill on April 6th died on April 11th. At the time, there was no suspicion of hantavirus. His body stayed on board for 2 weeks, and during which his wife became ill. Now, she flew with her husband's body to Johannesburg, South Africa on April 25th, and she passed away the day after she arrived. 8 more people got sick over the next 2 weeks. 3 of those who were evacuated from the ship were flown to the Netherlands for treatment, one of whom was the ship's doctor. We also learned that 23 passengers left the vessel and returned home all over the world, including here in the US, 2 weeks ago, before anyone knew what was going on, and one of them is already sick. The ship itself hasn't been allowed to dock anywhere as of yet, and the 150 passengers left on board so far have been thankfully asymptomatic.
Praises and glory to our power, Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth, wherever you may be, and wherever you may be. To you I say Shalom and Shalom, Shalom. All right, we're getting to this small topic here. Actually, a big topic. Wasn't what I originally planned to go into, but I wanted to go into it because I remember I had these things here that I looked into. You know, sometimes you just ask this chat, questions to generate some, topic points or particular, I guess you can say that, topic points, you know, as far as lesson goes. All right. Um, so I typed in, because this is something I think when I was watching a YouTube video. All right. So this led me to ask the question. So it says, what is WHO, which obviously the WHO is standing for the World Health Organization. So what is WHO immunization for all claim about? All right. So that's what they have. This they're not really a slogan, but I mean I can't really think of another word for it. So we just call it a slogan for now. But immunization for all. All right. So it says the World Health Organization, aka the WHO, WHO. All right. Claim that immunization for all is humanly possible, or humanly possible. Immunization for all is humanly possible. Is the central theme of its World Immunization Week 2025 campaign. All right, this claim asserts that through notices as the World Immunization Week for 2025 campaign. Right. So it says this claim asserts that through global collaboration and investment, it is possible to ensure every person, regardless of age or location, is protected from vaccine preventable diseases. Right. Um, Now, key components of this claim and campaign include a lifespan approach. The initiative emphasizes that I said it once. I'm thinking about it. Emphasizes that these, all right, are not just for children, but are essential for health throughout a person's entire life, from infants to grandparents. All right, without says right, because we know that, like their CVS's, their Walgreens, their hospitals, and things of that nature. These are major drug pushing companies that makes them billions of dollars a year. All right, and these all right are in pretty much in the same box. Okay, so they're not going to tell you to do herbal remedies and things of that nature. As they would call natural healing. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you to come to us. We'll prescribe you this for this and that for that, and so on and so forth. But anyways, saving millions of lives. The WHO highlights that immunization is a massive global success, saving an estimated 3.5 million to 5 million lives every year. All right, the humanly possible milestone. The campaign celebrates the 50th anniversary of the expanded program on immunization, or EPI, which has saved at least 154 million lives since 1974. Immunization Agenda 2030, or IA 2030. This is the strategic framework backing the claim. It aims to save 50 million more lives by 2030 by improving equitable access to V's and recovering from health system setbacks caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Right? A universal right. The WHO positions immunization as an indisputable human right and a critical tool for global health security. All right. And I really didn't want to read all this, but I want to get all that in so you can get the base note, right, coming from them. So it says the campaign serves as a call to action for governments to turn V's into vaccinations by strengthening local health programs and reaching zero-dose children who have never received a single shot. Right. So now, and it asked me here because I actually said yes to one of these because they'll throw you some suggestions here. But here it is. Yep. Would you like to know more about specific V's, including the WHO's recommendation schedule or the goals for 2030? So I said yes. All right. Usually I ignore those questions, but this time I said yes because it interested me. So it went down and gave me this: the World Health Organization, the WHO, recommendations and the Immunization Agenda 2030, IA 2030, are designed to provide a life course of protection moving beyond just childhood shots to include V's for all ages. All right, WHO recommended routine V's. All right, the WHO advises that every person, depending on their region and risk factors, should have access to V's protecting against these major pathogens. All right, check this out: infants and children. BCG or tuberculosis, hepatitis B or Hep B, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, Haemophilus influenza type B, polio, rotavirus, which I've never heard of, pneumococcal or PCV, measles, and rubella. Okay. All right, adolescents, human I could never say that right. HPV for cancer prevention and booster doses for tetanus and diphtheria. Adults and seniors, all right, influenza, the flu, right? Pneumococcal disease and COVID-19 with specific recommendations for pregnant women. All right, example given tetanus and travelers, example given yellow fever, cholera. Okay, so IA 2030 goals for the next decade. All right, so it goes into more of these things here. All right, reaching 90% global coverage for essential childhood and adolescent Vs, having zero-dose children, reducing by 50% the number of children who have never received a single V. So they want to poke everybody, all right, with their special juice, okay? Some kind of special juice, okay? For whatever case they have, they want to give you some kind of special juice, right? So that's part of their goal. All right, new Vicky introductions, completing 500 new or underutilized Vicky introductions like HPV, malaria, or rotavirus at national or subnational levels, right? And then they go on to talk about outbreak prevention and so on and so forth, life support integration, so on and so forth. All right, so let's keep going. So now, because remember it said up here it was 2025, so I was like, wait, well, if there was one last year, it was probably some previous years. I was like, well, what about this year here? So I typed in, is there a World Immunization Week 2026? And you see how all this comes to a head. All right, which is not a short thing. It's just interesting, but still, nonetheless, let's get to it. So it says, is there a World Immunization Week 2026? All right, the answer is yes. World Immunization Week 2026 is scheduled for April 24th through the 30th, 2026. All right, the official theme for 2026 is for every generation, Vicky's work. All right, so this is their official thing for 2026. Check this out now. Keep this in mind. As a matter of fact, I may use that for a title now. Okay, so mind you now, this is the devil. So the official theme for 2026 is for every generation, Vicky's work. So it doesn't matter if you're old, you're young, or if you just popped out the matrix. All right, this campaign builds on the previous humanly possible initiative, as we read up above, right? Initiative by focusing on the enduring impact of Vicky's over the past 50 years and their role in protecting people at every stage of life. And this is just more of Esau um, making a diligent search, as the scriptures say. He accomplishes a diligent search, taking all his collection of data, his trial and errors, because he sets out a lot of these diseases, okay, and then he sees the effect on people, and then you wonder why. Oh, there's a Vicky or some kind of whatever, all right, to cure you, because he's the one that made it in the first place. So the cure is, it's like beautiful, because brothers often like movies and stuff like that. Resident Evil, the first one was the best one. Or I wish some of the other ones were good too. The series, then different reboots. A couple of them are good, but the original one that had the chick, what's her name, Mila Jovovich, something like that. That one, the first one that came out, that one. So when you watch that one, if you watch that one again, when they show you the flashback of the lab and how it all started out, I think there was a blue vial and I think it was a green vial, and the blue vial held the virus, okay, and the green vial was supposed to be the cure. I think it was green, but the point I'm making is they made the virus, but along with making the virus, they also made a cure. And that's exactly what Esau does in his laboratories a lot of times, all right? He'll make a virus, but there's already a cure because he's the one that made it. So he knows the all the clockwork of this Vicky. See? So anyways, I hope that was kind of understandable. So key focus areas for 2026. Life course immunization, same thing, similar to what we read above, but this is now for 2026. All right, emphasizing that Vicky's are shared commitment for everyone, from an infant's first shots to adult boosters and seniors, all right, covering, as they said here, all ages and it's all in every generation and humanly possible, okay? So IA 2030 midpoint, all right, and notice there's so many agendas with Esau's the 2030 agenda. Excuse me, but the devil knows that his time is short, right? Marking, and if he has a 2030 agenda, he really would overjoy himself with completing these tasks and these goals before that date. But anyways, marking the halfway point of the immunization agenda 2030 with a renewed push to reach zero dose children and prevent outbreaks, building trust, equipping healthcare workers with tools to communicate clearly and compassionately to help families feel confident with their Vicky decisions. Scientific innovation, highlighting newer Vickies for diseases like malaria. It's the same thing up above. But let's keep going because I have more. All right. So I typed in another question that came up. What are the odds this took place before the Hanta outbreak? All right. So what are the odds this took place before? All right. We're talking about what now? Mind you, what we're going into. All right. Let me tie it together in case you missing the point. So I asked it, is there a World Immunization Week 2026? The answer is yes, and it's scheduled to take place when? April 24th to the 30th. So this is why I asked my next question. What are the odds this took place before? All right, this current outbreak that brothers are talking about. The events of World Immunization Week 2026, April 24th through the 30th, and we know we're past those dates now, right? Okay, and the recent outbreak are occurring almost simultaneously, right? Almost simultaneously, with significant overlap in their timelines. While World Immunization Week began first, the hantavirus outbreak became a major international concern during that same week and has continued to escalate into May 2026. All right, so in case you're still missing the point of why I asked it this question, the 2026 World Immunization Week was scheduled from April 24th through 30th. And now, all right, all of a sudden, all right, this cruise ship, dilemma has popped out of place. That's why it says almost overlapping right after. So the reason why I asked this question is because of course, the chat is never going to give you a clear answer like exposing the lead or some crazy mess like that. Exposing Esau. Of course not. But what are the odds that they have a World Immunization Week of 2026 that just took place now all of a sudden, cruise ship madness from a rodent disease? Okay, that's why I asked this question. So it says while World Immunization Week began first, the hantavirus outbreak became a major international concern during that same week and has continued to escalate into May 2026. Right, timeline comparison. April 1st, 2026, the cruise ship MV Hondias, however you pronounce it, at the center of the outbreak departed from Argentina. Okay, that was April 1st. Okay, which, if I'm correct, is there 30 days in April? I think it's 30 days in April, then it goes on May 1st. Anyways, April 1st, 2026, MVH departed from Argentina. April 6th through the 28th, all right? And what did they even, I can't, okay, there's my screen right there. Okay, so okay, May 7th. So, all right, so I'm trying to date some other stuff in my head too. So, anyways, April 6th to the 28th. So, this was a month, almost a month long thing, okay? Because, of course, they're only delivering the news of an outbreak now, but this cruise ship departed at the 1st of April, which was right at the end of their World Immunization Week for 2026. See? So onset of symptoms for various passengers occurred throughout this period, right? Starting at the 6th. Okay, so obviously, some jacked up people probably went on board. unless it started on board. More than likely not, but it have started on board. All right, but maybe because of something with serving or the feces or however it works, So it could be off board or on board. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So throughout this period, it says directly overlapping with World Immunization Week, April 24th through the 30th, all right, 2026. World Immunization Week took place, focusing on the theme for every generation, Vicky's work. All right. Um. Now May 2nd, okay, through the 4th, 2026. All right. The World Health Organization issued official emergency notifications as confirmed deaths and suspected cases on the ship Rose. All right, May 7th, 2026 to the present. All right. It says international health authorities are currently tracing passengers and investigating potential human to human transmission of the Andes strain. Like I mentioned, there's several different strains. This is supposed to be the Andes strain. So, international health authorities are currently tracing passengers and investigating potential human to human transmission of the Andes strain. All right, May 7th, which is today. Okay. Now, current status of the outbreak. As of early May 2026, the WHO reports 8 total cases, 3 confirmed and 5 suspected linked to the MV Hondias. 3 deaths have been recorded. While the risk to the general public remains low, the outbreak has drawn heightened attention because the Andes strain involved is the only known hantavirus variant capable of person-to-person spread. Right now, how ironic is that? That the Andes strain is the only one known for person-to-person spread, and this occurred on a cruise ship where there's nothing but person-to-person, people walking by, people bumping into each other, people meeting, greeting, shaking hands, hugging, kissing, and everything else. Like, come on, man. Is there anything else? Or there's something else? All right, so I typed in something else, I guess. How many? Oh, yeah, this is good, okay? I think this might be the last thing I typed in. How many different countries were the passengers from? So I wanted to know, because just like, how Bobit spread, okay? This did a similar, or I can't say this did, but this may do a similar thing. So I was like, well, let me ask it this question. Of these people on the cruise ship, how many countries or different nationalities of people coming from, right? Where are all these different people coming from? It embarked from Argentina, but a lot of people, probably going to go back to their home countries. Some people might actually live in Argentina or maybe in another, area outside of Argentina, but standing at, you get what I'm saying. Whatever's near Argentina, they might be living in some of those surrounding areas there, or to a whole entire country all together, right? So, how many different countries were the passengers from? The passengers and crew currently on board the MV Hondias represent 23 different nationalities. All right. So, while the majority of the passengers hail from Spain, UK, France, and the US, the full list of countries linked to individuals on the vessel or those who disembarked early includes, all right, North America, all right, which it just has North America has only United States and Canada, but 17 passengers come from there. So you can understand why I asked this question. So let's say all those 17 passengers are affected, all right, with the virus. So now you have this coming home to America as well as Canada from 17 individuals. That's going to be obviously quickly spread, right? And not only is that, like we read up above, the Andes strain is the only strain of all this particular type of virus that is known to spread, are possible to spread from human to human. All right, so let's keep going. So from Europe, there's United Kingdom, 23 passengers, and some of the crew members are actually from Europe. So we have Netherlands, Germany, France, Spain, Belgium, Greece, Ireland, Poland, Portugal, Russia, Switzerland, Ukraine, Denmark, Sweden, all right, and Montenegro. So pretty much the same thing we explained for, the example of United States and Canada. People going home to all these places who happen to be affected, but who we actually don't know right now, right? But if they make it home and they are affected, maybe they check off to be in the clear, but then later on, oh no, they're infected. So they went home to all these places. Then what happens? It spreads. So you see what we're kind of looking at here. Then you have Oceania, just Australia and New Zealand, which they don't have a number of the members there. But anyways, all right, Asia, Philippines, majority of crew. So majority of those from the Philippines were the crew members. All right, India, Japan, Singapore, Turkey. The Americas, all right, Argentina, Guatemala, Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis. So you see all these different places here. If all these different people go home and are sick with this thing, it's possible that it's going to come to all these places and spread from all these places and do what? End up worldwide, because so more people might take more travels. Or even if that person doesn't travel, someone from somewhere else might travel in, have contact with that person or some random person that already caught it, and they go back home. Okay. So this could quickly spread into a worldwide event, which, of course, these are part of the judgments of the Lord and the things that we're looking for as signs of the time. But you're going to end with a couple of scriptures here. I know it was mostly reading, but I wanted you to, see exactly why I was typing these things in so we can build up to a particular point here, right, by reading through this. Okay. So, and then I think this is it though. Yeah. So as of May 7, 2026, health authorities in 12 countries are actively, all right, health authorities in 12 countries are actively monitoring citizens who disembarked the ship before the outbreak was officially confirmed. You see, and that's the key thing there. Okay, it's one thing for this to surface. All right, they're in the middle of the ocean, wherever they at, and all of a sudden they find out what's going on. Oh, people are sick, da 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 da. But it's another thing, okay, before, okay, the outbreak, before things got, so you get the point, okay. And pretty much, I didn't want any more from this, or I wasn't interested in their questions either. All right, so in all these things, let's just go get this. Let's get Matthew. Okay, Matthew 24. Here you go. Verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and what we've been talking about, pestilences. Okay, which just like we just like we do when we're talking about famines and other things. Let's just pull this up real quick. Right, pestilences. Pestilences are deadly, virulent, and rapidly spreading epidemic diseases. Often historically refers to the bubonic plague. Anyways, it says they represent massive, widespread public health crisis that cause high mortality rates. The term also metaphorically describes harmful, destructive, or morally corrupting influences that are difficult to eliminate. Right. Also from the Merriam-Webster, a contagious or infectious epidemic disease that is virulent and devastating, especially the bubonic plague, something that is destructive. Da 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 da. Pretty much the same thing there. Okay. Actually, I didn't want all of that. Wow, they actually have Luke 21 in there. Yeah, there will be great earthquakes, famines, and pestilences, because the same thing is in Luke 21 that we're reading now in Matthew 24. All right. So, oh wait, I thought I went back. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. What's the word for diverse? Right? Various, several, okay? All right, different places, okay? So in different places, in various places, all right? And it's very possible, if this is what the Lord wants, that this thing is going to quickly, all right, hit worldwide, a worldwide effect. If that's what the Heavenly Father wants, is going to quickly hit a worldwide effect. Judging by that last piece of information that we read there, where all these passengers were from these different countries, and then adding on to the fact that other people travel, maybe not those particular passengers, but other people come to that country, in that city, in that area from another place, and they go back home, and then because that's exactly what happened with Bobit, right? When they could have stopped flights from going, they allowed them to keep going. So, or it could be by a boat, all right, or it could be by train, could be by car. So you get the point. However it happens, if the Lord wants this to happen, it can quickly turn into a worldwide event. All right. So, man, I was just thinking about something else. One more scripture. Was that when I was thinking of Revelation 18? I'm not sure. Let me see here. Um. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Which is going to this chapter, to the ultimate destruction. But this verse I was thinking about though. I want to say this is also in Isaiah. That's why I thought about it. But it says, let me get 7. How much she had Revelation 18:7. How much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she said in her heart, I said a queen, and am a widow and shall see no sorrow. And this is talking about America, all right? Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for stronger the Lord power who judges her. Because the end of this place is by destruction. But before that, we're in a time that's going to be known as Jacob's trouble, and a lot of these different things are going to be taking place. All right, like what we're talking about now. All right, daily outbreaks and things of that nature. And they're saying, Uncle Rick, they said that there's no cure for it as of right now. Okay, which they could just be saying that. Okay, they say it's no cure, but then don't be surprised if they come out and say, "Hey, we have this solution thing here." Oh, there was something else I saw earlier. Man, man, where was I don't think I have it. I don't think I have it. Um, no, I don't have it. I don't think. But anyways, it's there. I'm trying to think exactly how it read, but something about man, I forget. It's okay. It's okay, cause I can't remember exactly. Man, it's okay. There was something about like a HIV or something like that, right? Being something that was highly monitored as it was some crazy mess that I read. Okay, but anyways, you got all this what am I going? All this madness going on here. I'm trying to see if we can close with one more verse here. Maybe there's something in Second Esdras. I think so. I hate when this thing does this. It's been doing this since for a little short while now. Taking you through loops to get to the Apocrypha. Um, is it 16 I'm looking for? See if we can find one more verse to close. It's actually pretty good out there, but um, okay. Second Esdras 16 and 18, the beginning of sorrows, all right, and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, all right? But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges, all right? So as the Lord is jacking, our people up, along with the rest of the earth, the 2/3 of our people are just not going to get it. Okay, they're just not going to get it. Okay, so this thing can turn, very scary for 2/3 of our people because we know we're hoping to be protected from all things, through the spirit and power we have a small shot. Okay, um, and it was, I mean, you get the general. I don't have to even go into that point, but 2/3 of our people who don't even know the Lord at all. All right, if this thing gets out of hand because the Lord wants it to, if that be the Lord's will, all right, it's going to turn scary for a lot of our people real quick, and that's going to lead to what? Another lockdown, okay? More curfews, all right? A more heavy hand for Esau to put on the people again, and look how people were going crazy from the last time. A lot of people were isolated, had spoke to people, and God knows how long. All right, these people are gonna go nuts, man, if they have to experience that again. And just imagine if this thing does, break out of hand. All right, be the Lord's will, and it's worse than the Bobit. Okay, these people are gonna go nuts, man. Having to be locked down and curfewed and isolated and separated and all this, these people ain't gonna be able to take it, man. But it's all what is because the elite are constantly pushing the buttons of Babylon the Great because they're trying to break this place, man. They're trying to break this place so they can mend it back together under their enterprise, the New World Order. Okay, and that's only going to go but so far because the Lord has a limitation for them. All right, he's going to shut it all down soon come. Okay, as a matter of fact, is that one in 15? I'll end on that verse. Or no, I think that might be in 9. I'll end on that verse since we mentioned that. Well, it could be back in that chapter. I believe it is. Yeah, it might be in. Let me check 15. Let me see. Just bear with me a couple ticks here. Yeah, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Okay? And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And all over YouTube, people on the different podcasts, everybody's talking about what? Price of living. They talk about a coming food. They talk about the war. All right. And well, there's something else they were talking about. It's another topic they're talking about. There's something else too. Okay. Um, man, I forget what but you get the general. There's only a handful of very mainstream topics that everybody seems to be all talking about right now. Okay. But where direction they heading is all up to the will of the Heavenly Father. And only thing we can do is sit back and watch and see what the Lord is going to do. Okay. So I'll probably just leave it at that, right? So Lord willing, you edify to next time, Yashwala. I'm gonna say shalom.